Welcome back to the LFGRX podcast, the go-to place for home gym owners, micro gym enthusiasts, and fitness entrepreneurs. My name is Trevor Hall. I'm joined with my co-host Andrew Towers, and we are joined today by Scott McDonald, the CEO of Body Solid Inc. And we wanted to jump into Scott's journey in the fitness industry and kind of get into how he got involved with Body Solid and everything, and what he sees in the marketplace, what he sees in the industry, and we'll get into some background stuff. So thank you for joining us, Scott.
Happy to be here.
Awesome. Pumped that you are.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. So let's dive into it. Trevor, unless you had a question to fire off right away, I was hoping that, Scott, you can, share with us a little bit about your professional journey and talk a little bit about how long you've been in the industry, how long you've been with Body Solid, and what got you there.
Well, real briefly, for those of you who aren't familiar with Body Solid, we are coming up on our 35th anniversary here sometime this summer.
Okay,
and
congratulations.
We're a company that from the beginning has catered to the home gym enthusiast. We also sell a lot of commercial products as well, and we've expanded our product selection dramatically from when we first started. But when we first did get started, it was really focused on home gyms and particularly strength products. And that's still really our forte today, which is our strength products. I joined the company a little bit less than 20 years ago, actually originally as the CFO of the company. So I have a finance background before that. I was involved with a couple of different companies in the packaging and point of purchase display industry, and but was brought into Body Solid kind of as our first financial more professional financial manager. And but then the three guys who founded the business fairly shortly after I got here decided that they were ready to retire, and so I took over with a partner of mine, and we've been running the business ever since for about 20 years now. And it's been a great experience for me. I came out of an industry that was, no industry is easy. It's always difficult, but fitness industry is an industry that's a great industry to be involved in because, not to sound a little Pollyannish, but you're selling solutions hopefully to people that are going to make their lives better, improve their health, their fitness. It's easier that a long time ago, I was at a industry meeting, and one of the lobbyists involved in our industry said, I came out of a company lobbied for landfills. He says, you think you've got it bad, that's a job you don't want. But and he was just reflecting as I was just now that there's really very little negative you can say about fitness, other than you have to be safe and do it the right way when you're doing it.
Yeah, and customers are pretty enthusiastic in the fitness business, right? Because they're wanting to better their lives some way or the other. You're not really, selling them something that is necessary or anything like that. Well, we might believe it's necessary, but you're not selling them something that they have to have.
It's necessary too.
Yeah.
But it's there's a lot of good feelings when you see somebody who, your typical person when they get involved in fitness, might say, might be told feel they're getting overweight, feel they're getting older, whatever it might be, if they didn't come out of a lifetime of fitness, maybe as an athlete, but and that journey continues. They typically, your typical, once they do get involved and once they make a commitment to it, they stay involved and they get more involved. They start out with might be a set of dumbbells at home, and then within a few years they have some cardio pieces. They have a full home gym or a power rack or whatever it may be, and they just continue to grow on that. Hopefully it's a lifetime pursuit. Even to the end when you're physically unable to do certain things, being able to stay fit, if it's, God forbid you can't walk anymore, like, my father's in that position right now, he can still do upper body stuff and things like that. And so it's, hopefully it's a lifetime pursuit for people.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love it. That's an awesome background. Awesome story.
Now, what products are you excited about, and what's selling these days?
It's been interesting. I mean, COVID really just kind of threw everybody for a loop.
Hmm.
I think that in retrospect, it's easy to see why. But I think going back to 3 years ago, 4 years ago now almost, when things kind of shut down, we all thought it was going to be for a couple of weeks. It wasn't going to be the way it
Hmm.
ended up being for the better part of a year and a half or so. But and so that really created such unprecedented demand for fitness products,
Mm.
particularly as the fitness world shut down from a standpoint of public health clubs.
Yep.
And what we've seen since then is actually it's really interesting. I mean, some of the same products continue to sell, particularly on the strength side. Power racks are always going to be popular. Home gyms kind of came back a little bit. I think more because people couldn't get everything
Mm.
they wanted, because home gyms when I'm talking about home gyms, I'm talking about the stack weight home gyms
Yeah.
that we sell, about 10 different versions of them, anywhere from one stack to multiple stacks. But those home gyms kind of saw a decline, had a spike in COVID like everything else, and then we're seeing them decline again. But what people are much more interested in functional training, and ultimately, if they're going to make the next step, they want to go into true free weight training, and that's where power racks, Smith systems, things like that sell very well.
Hmm.
When I'm advising particularly somebody who's not comfortable with strength training, the home gyms are wonderful because they're very safe. They usually pack a lot of exercises in a fairly compact space, and they're intuitive. You sit on a bench and you do a bench press or a lat or whatever it might be. It doesn't require quite as much knowledge, and again, but it's prescribed motions, and so there's
Mhm.
it's a little bit more two dimensional in the exercise you're getting. Then people will hopefully turn, over a period of time, maybe transition to getting a functional trainer, which, has many of the same attributes of a home gym, but a little bit more flexibility in how you use it. But then again, with that flexibility, you got to have the knowledge of how to use it as well. And then the next step after that, and a lot of people don't make this next step, is to going into the free weight market, which, as we know, is, while it's good for you, it's obviously a little bit more dangerous, and you have to be more aware of the safety aspects of it. And that's where Smith machines and power racks all have safeties and things like that. But even then, you have to be a little bit careful, particularly once you get away from the rack and start doing exercises, without those safeties.
Yeah, you were mentioning. So when you say home gym, is that a product or a specific set of products that you're referring to?
Yeah,
Uh,
I know it can be confusing because we're talking in general about home gyms,
mhm.
which is a gym that's in your home. When I referred just a few minutes ago to home gyms, I was talking about the stacked weight home gyms. Back for those of you who are my age, you may remember the old universal home gyms, which were very common. And I think possibly the first ones that developed it, but. And similar to the circuit training machines you might see in a health club, but usually they have multi-functions. Typically the most simple ones are going to have a bench press with a lat pull and usually a pec and some sort of a leg curl in the front.
Yeah, like four different
And
stations
yeah,
that.
and then they might
Yep.
have a low curl on their side and stuff like
Hmm.
that. And then you get into 2 and 3 and even 4 stacks, where you've just got that much more stuff that can go on. A lot of them have cable columns attached to them, so you can have some functional training capability. We have, I should have counted it up, but we probably have about 10 or 15 different home gyms, as I'm describing them right now, that we sell, that range anywhere from a very simple one to a 4 stack that's suitable for for example, a hotel or a school or something like that.
Right. And so when you were saying a few moments ago that you're seeing those sales decline, you're talking about that specific equipment or that
Yes,
SKU
exactly.
type equipment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and being replaced by functional training in
Right.
particular.
Right.
That's we're
Hmm.
seeing those are very hot right now.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, you do see a lot of push for functional movements and stuff like that. People wanting to better their lives in a healthier manner that makes more sense with what they're doing day to day. whether
Yeah,
they're parents or
and functional training can also be mixed up too, because functional training also refers to,
Right.
I
The
want to be a
CrossFit
better
style type
golfer,
stuff.
so I'm going to do, I'm
Oh,
going to do
yeah,
a
yeah.
certain exercise. But when I'm talking about functional training, typically we are again talking about a stacked weight functional trainer. They usually have, most of them have two, some of them have one, but two columns on either side with, where the working element of the cables can go anywhere from your feet level up to above your head. And that allows you to, it gives you much more flexibility, but again, you have to know a little bit more about what you're doing and how you want to do it if you're going to get involved in that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's where
it's
you're between the stacks, right? You're between the stacks
Yes.
Between
with the
the
cables
stacks,
and
do like a
everything.
fly
Yeah,
type
that
thing.
makes total
Yep.
sense.
Our
Pull-up bar sometimes
GFT
right in the middle.
100 or our PFT 100, which are two of our better versions of that, are selling like hotcakes right now.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. And you're seeing actually people that have pretty well built out home gyms investing in these functional trainers now. They provide a modality of fitness and add to your repertoire that free weights in a way that free weights aren't necessarily going to do for you. I think about myself. I've mostly free weights with some machines to sort of add into my WODs that I do. But I find myself as I get older wanting more, functional trainer type movements or pieces of equipment that I can use to isolate certain muscle groups and build on that strength.
Yep.
Well, and the other thing that both a home gym or a functional trainer bring to particularly to now I'm going to use the broader term, to somebody's home gym in their home, is the footprint. Typically,
Yes.
You're talking, unless you're at the the top 1%er, you're fitting your home gym into a garage, a basement corner, whatever it might be. And you've got a lot of space and height considerations to factor in, which sometimes make it a little bit more difficult to do what you want to do.
Yep. Yeah, that makes total sense.
So, I'm curious. Talk a little bit about Body Solid and what makes Body Solid unique, and what makes it such high quality equipment.
Well, there's a couple of things. In some ways, we're not unique. There are a lot of companies like us who make very fine products, but we have been around for 35 years. One of the things that we really try to do is offer a very broad array of products. It allows a customer to go into one of our retailer partners or if they're buying it online, really go to us from a one-stop shop and be able to pick up everything they need to outfit a complete home gym, whether it's all at once or over a period of time. And when we have over 600 SKUs, items that we sell. And they range anywhere from a jump rope to the 4-stack gym I talked about a little while ago, to cardio products. With 35 years in the business, we have a very interesting way of developing products, and really what it comes down to is we're taking a lot of feedback. We love feedback from customers. If you're involved in our social media, and I encourage everybody to do so, we're on all the major social media outlets, but we are always getting great ideas from customers. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? And then what we do is we take it and put it into action. And what we're trying to do is provide a product that fits the niche that the customer wants at a very high quality. We have a lifetime warranty on most of our Body Solid products, and give it to them at a price that's reasonable. The very high end commercial quality product out there that you can spend a lot of money on by some of my competitors that I won't name. But you don't need that for a home gym most of the time.
Yeah.
Even if you are going to be opening it up, like in the concept that you guys are talking about, a home gym is not going to have 24/7 sort of usage, which not all clubs are like that. But you're not going to have 12 hours a day of people working on it 7 days a week of a level of usage, and so I encourage you to look at that relative to what you need for your particular home situation.
Yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense. It's important for people to be able to maximize their space too. I mean, it's just generally we're seeing people, in a single car garage, 2-car garage, and sharing, maybe space with their car, but also, trying to build out and have as much flexibility in their own gym as they can, while also not taking up all the space in their garage, because it is also a functional space in that way.
And that's where we're going to try to help that, particularly that home, that space challenged home gym person or user. We have, to give you just some basic examples. We've got a commercial level power rack, SPR 1000 series. It's got various versions, with extensions, all sorts of interesting stuff related to attachments and things like that. Really nice, but it's a very big, tall piece. About the same time as we brought that out, we came out with our GPR 400 power rack. The GPR 400 has got many of the same attachments. It's got plyo box attachments, dip attachments. There's quite a few. I can go through the whole list, but it's designed to fit in particularly a height challenged environment. Where it comes in under 7 feet, where, particularly you're putting this in a basement. Most basements don't have, 10-foot ceilings. Garages might, but, then it really depends on if you want to, whether you want to allocate the space for a home gym in your garage and lose the storage space for cars and whatever, or whether you want to try to fit it into a basement or even a room in your house. But by offering those two, that's an example of how Body Solid offers both that commercial level product for the enthusiast who wants commercial level product, or this other product that's really quality, the same quality. However, it has and again the lifetime in-home warranty, but it's much more compact and able to be fit into a space challenged area.
Yeah. You got a great price on it right now too.
Hell yeah!
I'm looking on your website right now.
That's another one we're having a hard time keeping completely in stock. But it's
that's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it's a good problem.
That is a good problem.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, talk to us a little bit about. So you sell to your customers range from big box gyms, Globo gyms to home gyms. I'd be curious to learn about why the home gym market is one you want to break in, or like you want to continue pursuing and selling to and meeting the needs of, and talk to us about how you see the home gym community growing and how you can grow with it.
Well, our roots are entirely in the home gym market. As I said, we do actively pursue and sell the commercial market today, but the Body Solid product line, and we've got multiple brands, but the Body Solid is really our premium home line. It's good enough to be a commercial line, and we do sell some of that product in the commercial level spaces. But the home gym market is where we cut our teeth 35 years ago, and it will always be near and dear to our heart and something that we pursue and support. And the reason is because what I talked earlier about how fitness for an individual can be somewhat of a journey. You first get involved a little bit, and it's everyone gets involved in a different way. Sometimes they may buy something for home, sometimes they might be at a health club. But my observations, and I don't have any data specific to this, but anecdotally, is that typically the person who starts out in fitness anywhere, wherever they go, they end up wanting to have access to fitness wherever they might be. In this day and age, besides health clubs, a lot of corporations have fitness facilities that are part of where you may work if you're going into the office. And then you want to have it at home. And it also, it's a lifestyle, life cycle thing too. We talked earlier how you guys are both fathers, and I am too. And particularly my kids are a little older now, but when my kids were young, being able to work out at home was a lifesaver, because without that aspect at that time, with the baby monitor in hand, I was able to get my workout in and still be the father that I wanted to be as well. As my life changed, I work out mostly now at my office, because you can imagine we have a pretty nice fitness facility here. But I still have that home gym, and I literally just used it, January 1st. So, when I was home. So um, so I'm bullish on the home gym market. I think that the health clubs seem to be very slowly coming back since COVID. I think it's a difficult market. It was probably overbuilt prior to COVID, anyways. But I think a lot of people, now that they've had a taste of being at home, they want to stay at home and be able to
Mm-hmm.
work out at home. So as you may recall, 25 years ago, we were all required to sign 1-year contracts to join a health club. Then it was month to month contracts, then week to week, and now these days you've got basically things like ClassPass and what have you, where you can go in and use a health club for half a day, or for forever period what you want to do, and pay for it on that basis. And when I look at what's happening with what you guys are talking about, it's the logical extension of that into basically making the parallel to the hotel market. It's the Airbnb sort of thing where somebody can go in somebody else's home and their home gym and use it in that way. And so when we continue to see that liquidity of the market where people want to be able to do it when they want to do it, where they want to do it. And that could be at home, that could be in your home, that could be in a health club, that could be in a corporation's office, that could be anywhere. And people want that ability, especially as people are more mobile. As people are working at home, obviously the home gym becomes more important to somebody who's working at home versus in an office. And when you're traveling, you want to be able to, say I'm traveling out of town. I don't want to sacrifice my workout.
Right.
You go to a hotel these days, you can actually, borrow what they call is like a fitness pack. It's usually like a bag full of some resistance bands and some other things. And you can sit on the floor in your hotel room and do your exercises. And I've heard of, I'm not familiar with it, but there's actually hotels out there that are renting rooms that actually have like an elliptical or a treadmill in the room, by request,
No kidding.
which is interesting. And we've actually run into a company that is in the business of renting equipment and putting it into people's houses or a hotel room on a very short-term basis because somebody wants it. So what what we're seeing is, and again, using the liquidity, which means that that it's just an easier process for you to get into the home, get into the workout, get into the fitness. And again, that's why one of the reasons we as a company are very excited about that evolution of the fitness industry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think that from an overall consumer perspective, outside of even just the fitness industry, everybody's looking for more and more flexibility, and the company that gives more and more flexibility is the one that starts to grow and everything. And so, yeah, we've always felt that GoRx and home gyms in general is just an extension of that flexibility, to where now all of a sudden you can create a mini community within your neighborhood that allows
Mhm.
you to provide a quality workout experience and a private workout experience to individuals that might not have the means or the ability in their home, but
Or
wants to
desire.
have that private experience. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
we're looking to build that and continue building that community.
Yeah. I mean, I think about my own experience as a micro gym owner, and uh, half the people that come walk here
Mm-hmm.
or run here as their
Right.
warm up because
No,
it's
nobody
the
wants to
neighborhood.
drive. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. They don't want to hop in the car. They don't want to drive 5 to 10 minutes to the gym. They don't want to wait for equipment or worry about being in someone's reel on
Mm-hmm.
Instagram or TikTok. Like there's a whole bunch of benefit to having an option where it's, no hassle, no contract, book and go by yourself, get a private workout or come with, or bring a buddy or a friend, you
Yeah.
I
know?
also think it provides a great opportunity for the personal trainers of the world as well.
Yes.
The personal trainers, a lot of, unfortunately, as the health clubs have kind of diminished in their spread and in the size, a lot of those folks are out of jobs. They don't have enough people at the health clubs to keep them occupied. Most of them have got some element of personal training they're doing in people's houses or what have you. And usually the goal for most personal trainers would be ultimately to be able to, build their own spot,
Right.
get their own studio going. but that can be very expensive and daunting. And because, if you don't have the customers, you still got to pay rent and what have you. Going back to your concept, the home gym concept, where I'm going to be able to, publish my home gym with or without my training capabilities. That gives a great opportunity for a personal trainer to maybe make that transition from a health club to ultimately maybe their own studio, or maybe not. Maybe they continue to do it on a one-on-one basis within their own home through something like what you're offering.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And even
absolutely.
in someone else's home,
Yes.
what we're seeing is people that want to start a micro gym are talking about offering their home gym, to other trainers. Now, there are considerations to that. There are ways to cross your T's, dot your I's, make sure that, liability is covered, that there's an expectation and those that are met. So there's a whole slew of things that come into the conversation, but everyone wins when a trainer can, maybe not the macro gym, as I like to refer to them. The commercial gym doesn't win in this scenario, but the trainer, the micro gym owner, and the client all win in this case, because the micro gym owner, in most cases, what we're finding, are not necessarily opening their home to make $1 million. They're trying to recoup their cost. They might want to expense some of those costs. They want to earn some of that money back to pay for the equipment.
Maybe justify buying a little bit
buying
higher
something more.
quality,
Yeah.
or maybe getting a little creative with their space. But
Yes.
Yeah. But the point is, they're not necessarily looking, and I can speak to myself. We're not looking to make a ton of money off of this. And so what I can say to a trainer is like, hey, pay me like a low monthly fee. You can have, come up with an agreement. You have this many clients that you can train here. So the trainer is pocketing more money, because now the commercial gym's not taking 50 to 60% of that, that session's revenue. So now they're making more money, and they can offer that same personal training session for less and still pocket more. And so we see this micro gym concept in that application taking off. Now it's going to take some time to get there because it's still a brand new concept in, opening your home to a personal trainer. And we need to figure out our processes to make sure that we're absolutely pointing people in the right direction, that we're equipping them with the knowledge they need to safely execute that sort of arrangement. But it's not just a new way to enter into the gym market or to keep yourself employed as a personal trainer, but it's also a way to continue what you're doing without taking any of that cost or initial expense whatsoever. And so there are steps that these people can take from there. It's basically an exit strategy. I exit the commercial gym, I go into someone's micro gym. From their micro gym, I continue to build my clientele. I pocket more money, I save more money. From there, I open my own micro gym, because that's where I want to go. If I continue to win clients, I continue to capture high value clients. Now I can think about expanding back into commercial space. And so there's this whole exit entry, new entry strategy that is facilitated by this micro gym concept. And these are things that we think about and we talk about daily, and we get really excited by, and we get really pumped to talk to people like you about it because you've been in the industry, you see it, so you provide, that validation to the concept, and that support, frankly, is when you try something new and you try something difficult as founders, as as a CEO, but as us as a founder, you need people in your corner. And those people in your corner are gonna keep you motivated, keep you accountable, et cetera. So now I'm just rambling, but I did want to jump off. But
I want to go back a little bit. And Trevor, you made a great comment, which rung a bell with me, which is that it gives you once you start getting into it and you start making some money, you can buy more stuff.
Yes.
And I'm kind of an amateur woodworker. Actually, right next to my home gym, I have a little room that's my wood shop. And two things. One is, okay, I'm always looking for the latest gadget and interested in that stuff. But the second thing is I've stuck with a couple of different companies that make woodworking equipment and tools. Yep. Because they've been around for a long, long time, and I know I'm going to get support from them, particularly for the things that have moving parts. and B, because they make quality products. And I think that, Body Solid, with a 35-year history, that's what we are offering, hopefully, to the home gym enthusiast, that they can rely on us to have, pretty much everything they need. I'd be surprised if there's anything that we don't have that they need. And we're going to be here hopefully another 35, 50 years, whatever, to support the product. And again, I've said it a few times, the lifetime in-home warranty is a pretty nice thing to have when you're, especially if you're going to go into this type of a situation where you're going to use your home gym even more.
Absolutely. And the lifetime value of an item that can be replaced or be repaired over, after 10 years or whatever, it may be, is hugely valuable for home gym owners and garage gym owners, just because, it's not, you don't generally have the deep pockets that you would need to replace an item or something like that.
Well, and it's also important, Andrew, you had talked about the, crossing the T's and dotting the I's correctly and being careful about liability. One of the things that, if you've bought a cable-based machine, like one of the stack weight home gyms or functional trainers that we sell, in the past, you'll know that it's vitally important that you check your cables on a regular basis. And then they need to, particularly in a relatively high use, should probably be replaced almost annually, if not sooner, depending on the level of use. Because the probably the biggest potential cause for injuries in that kind of a piece of equipment is a cable breaking. And that's why it needs to be replaced and inspected regularly. And if you bought a home gym from us 20 years ago, you under the Body Solid name, and you needed to get a cable replacement, you would still be getting them free.
That's awesome. Does that extend to people that like purchase a Body Solid functional trainer through Facebook Marketplace or something like that from someone?
It is for the original owner.
Okay.
But we will. But if you're not the original owner, we'll sell you a cable pack, and they're not expensive.
Yeah. Makes total sense. No, that's awesome. Yeah.
You don't see that a lot these days anymore. Lifetime warranties. That is a huge value add.
Well, particularly on the cables, I'm doing this, as an editorial comment to all your listeners. I'm going to guess a lot of you already have a cable piece. Make sure you're inspecting on a regular basis. If it starts looking worn, if the sheathing is cracked, you do not want to have an experience where a lap bar comes bamming down on your head because the weight snapped or something like that. And again, when you're buying a piece like that, you want to be able to know that you're going to be able to get, because the cable, every cable, as you can imagine, is a certain length, to fit that particular machine. That's not something that you can easily get from somebody else.
Yep.
So it's important to buy that from somebody who's got the resources to be here, to support you.
Yeah, that's such a value add when it comes to a piece of equipment that you're thinking about getting, because then you have the support over the lifetime. And judging by some of the garage gyms that we see and home gyms that we see and barn gyms that we see, some people have the equipment for 25 years and are still utilizing it.
Well, there's no reason they shouldn't have it 25 years. I mean, some of the higher, things like cardio pieces are not usually going to last 25 years. But something like a strength-based product, most of those, you might have upholstery problems over a period of time that you might get ripped or something like that. But those can be replaced as well, and it's an easy replacement and it's inexpensive. So
agreed. And getting back to just a side note, I guess, basically on the crossing T's and dotting the I's and everything with that. For the listeners out there, people that are listening to this or interested in this, remember GoRx. Here at GoRx, we are trying to grow the community, so we want to expand this community as much as possible. And so remember that we don't charge anybody for our expertise or reaching out to us and finding out how to start or anything like that. We do consultations and stuff like that all the time without a dime being taken, because we just want, our number one goal right now is to grow this community and make sure that we're we're expanding and getting people the information they need when it comes to that. So I just
Absolutely.
want to throw that out there as a
And if
side.
I may add, there are platforms out there that are not being forthright in, this whole concept. There are other platforms that are entering the space that are saying things like, "Hey, we talked to a bunch of insurance providers. It's okay. You're going to be fine. Jump on our platform. You're just listing your gym on a platform. This is not a business." Well, the IRS will look at it differently. The state looks at that differently. The law looks at that differently. There's as soon as you take a payment for someone to access your space and use your equipment, that's a commercial activity.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what we are really passionate about is making sure that people that fake news isn't getting traction. Like, we're doing our best to nip that fake news in the bud. Because people can get in trouble if they don't take the steps necessary to protect themselves. Now, if you take these steps, your risk is low. You mitigate it, and you can protect yourself. This is people have actually been running garage gym businesses for many years. I mean, trainers that I've talked to over the years that have been doing it for a couple decades from their garage. So it's not necessarily new in practice or application, but it's new in concept. It's new in its adoption into the fitness industry, and now people are willing to receive it and be early adopters. So the point is, you can make it work. You can start a business from your garage gym. It's not simply listing your gym on a platform. It is not simply that. Your insurance provider is not necessarily going to cover someone that jumps in your gym because they paid you and uses your equipment. So just because you have a home gym or a home insurance, that doesn't mean you're necessarily covered, right? Probably not at all. So you need to look into commercial insurance and what that looks like. And, to sort of I guess, wrap up my thought on that. I mean, this is what we do at GoRx. And Trevor's right. We don't ask for money. If anything, just engage our content and share if someone says it's something that's interesting to them. Because we don't capture any revenue and if someone decides to affiliate and they start earning money. That's when we start earning money, is when they start earning money. So, maybe it's not a great business model, but it's the right thing to do. It's certainly in the stage that we are. Sorry, we didn't mean to make it about us.
Yeah, it's all good.
It's all right.
a little sidebar there.
So anyway, all right. So, Scott, a lot of the people that listen to our podcast so far are interested in starting a microgym or a fitness business of some sort. So if you could share some lessons learned that you might share with us, or advice that people can take, with them, and as they explore this opportunity for them.
Well, first of all, thanks again for having me here, and it's just been a super experience for me. I've been running businesses for a long time in various capacities, and I think the biggest risk when you're running a business is you don't know what you don't know in a lot of cases, and I think you guys both touched on it a little bit earlier. The possibilities for liability and just the little things that go into running a business are frequently not that well known to the entrepreneur. And so you need to find outside people. And even if you've been doing it for as long as I have, you still don't know exactly, and things change all the time. And so you need to be ready to and willing to lean on other people to help you. And that might be, you guys, in the sense of the advice you provide. It might be somebody else who's been doing it for a while. It might be, your brother-in-law who's a lawyer, whatever. But, ask questions, be curious, and just, pick up every stone and try to learn as much as you can about. You already know the fitness industry, most likely. You already know how to train somebody. You know the kind of equipment you want. You probably know our name and 20 other names like us. But you do want to protect yourself. You want your business to be successful. understand the cash flow implications of a business. It's easy to buy a lot of equipment, but then it's got to be paid for. And, that's my biggest advice to whether you're opening up a home gym or you're opening up something else is there's a lot of free resources, obviously the internet, but local chambers of commerce. There's small pro bono consulting companies that can also provide advice. And again, you guys are providing advice specifically in this area. So that would be my advice to the fitness entrepreneur.
Thanks. And where can people find you and find Body Solid?
So our website's bodysolid.com, BODYSOLID.com. And we are on all the various social medias. And, one of the things we love to do is to publicize installations, home gyms that have our product in it. And if you get on, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or all the major ones, we will. There's opportunities there to submit your home gym, and if it's one that we get, we'll put it out there and say, hey, there's Andrew's gorgeous home gym featuring Body Solid products, hopefully, so we love to, as I mentioned earlier in this podcast, we love to engage with our consumers. They're where we get our ideas. They're where we, they're what make us. And I hope we never forget that. I think the hardest job we have in our company is our customer service, because when people call, customer service, it means that something didn't go right. Maybe they're missing a piece, in a product or whatever it is. But it's also the opportunity to hopefully, pull in that customer forever. And that's important to me, because, particularly if we're doing a lifetime warranty, we have to be able to support, through customer service, as well as through the products and product quality as well. But again, you can find us at bodysolid.com and engage with us on social media. And if you're ever in the Chicago area, stop by.
Yeah. Well, Scott, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining us on the LFGRX podcast. A lot of insight, a lot of great information to go back and kind of pour through and make sure that we apply into our business and what we're putting out and also just our lives. Thank you again. And if you're listening to this, make sure to follow GoRX Fitness and any of our social media channels or anything like that. Like, subscribe, rate, review, share this podcast, this episode. And then also, if you are interested in building a microgym business or getting a microgym up on the platform or anything like that, please reach out to Andrew or myself or our GoRX Fitness social media channels. We're happy to walk through the process of building a microgym out, how you can get started, what it takes to get started, where to go. And it's all free of charge. We don't charge anyone for the information that we have. And we try to help you navigate the steps that it takes to get a microgym business launched and be ready to go without, the high risk factor and everything like that. And so we want to break down those barriers as much as we can. And that's what we're here for. So, Thank you again for joining us, Scott, and have a good day.
You too.